What are we doing? It's Show Us Your Tips. Had a mental blank there. Wrong show. Show Us Your Tips, Progress Racing, Daggy Beaver, all that sort of stuff. Doing a midweek preview of Canterbury and Sandown. Did you have a bet on the weekend, Beaver? Just quickly.
Look, I had a bit of a play around, but this time of year, it's I always sort of take the foot off the accelerator a bit and just watch a few and try and pick the eyes out of them. But I kind of had to change the tact, particularly I think in Sydney, because if you weren't up near the lead, you just had no chance.
Yeah, that's true. I ended up having a good result on Bandersnatch, and then I think the timing was quite good.
I mean, I couldn't believe
the price.
Bandersnatch was $7.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe the price. Like, I tipped Rubisaki obviously on the show, but by that time of the day, there was no way I was backing Rubisaki, and Bandersnatch was always going to probably go forward, and it got out to $7 and led all the way and never looked like getting beaten. And it was a bit of a no-brainer by that time of the day. I just couldn't believe that the money didn't come for it and didn't get out for Rubisaki.
No, I was the same. I was quite more than happy to take the 750 odd. And then I was more than happy when the meeting was called off about 20 minutes later, because I just went, you know what, I've had my result. Moved on for the day.
Can't give it back.
So that worked.
But I just don't get horses like Rubisaki, why it was sitting back where it was when you just knew you couldn't win from back there. Yeah. I just don't understand what they're thinking.
There's a theory that pace is class. So if you're not good enough to show your own pace, maybe you're not that good, or you need all your things. Obviously, there's exceptions to every rule, but I think in Sydney particularly, now they put out the stewards maps, I think jockeys are just scared to change anything, and I think the combination of that's not a stable that's going to want to go forward, but disappointing and all, but you've got to have some flexibility, and I think that's why we tend to see more often in Melbourne, where you see your Jamie Carrs and Damien Olivers and Ben Mellams happy to just put the best horse in the race. I think in Sydney they get a bit scared of having to ride to a map, and you may as well tear up your ticket if you're on it.
Yeah, that's right. It was all over Red Rover by that time, and but even earlier in the day, you could see it was going to be on pace, and if you looked at that, you probably had a reasonable day.
And down south we saw Jamie Carr become the first rider in Metro Melbourne history to ride 100. First female, obviously, as a result to do it. So, quick summary. Your thoughts on Jamie Carr?
She's outstanding, an outstanding jockey, an outstanding person. Deserves all the reward that she's getting for all the hard work she's put in, and credit to her. She's a jockey that's just easy to back.
Yeah, I think that's especially for the two of us. Hard to find a bigger rap than easy to back. And particularly as midweek, how often, I know the equivalent, I suppose, in Sydney's J-Mac at the moment, but you see them go on, you see the target race, and you see these midweek races, easy to back. You can single them out pretty comfortably, especially when you got plenty of other ducks in a row.
Well, it's outstanding when you've got a female jockey like Jamie Carr that's one of the best jockeys going around at the moment, and started in South Australia at some of those lesser tracks there, and rode a lot of winners, and then went to the city in Adelaide and was the best jockey in town, and now getting rewards in Melbourne, and getting put on good horses, which always helps, but you've got to be able to ride to do that, and she certainly gets put on the good horses and doesn't let you down.
I think, it was easy to be a small fish, a big fish in a small pond, which she was in Adelaide, but to come in to essentially, I think it's about a third full season, be as dominant as she's been. Kudos to her. And hopefully the media, it has been a heap of it. Hopefully they don't build up too much of a tall poppy for her, because I think it's a fantastic racing story. And for a female, and I don't want to harp on a general thing, but it is pretty much any sport where men and women compete on a level playing field, and she was the best down south. So, full credit.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Should we get into tomorrow, though? We will look forward.
Let's get into it and see if we can find a winner.
We've got wet track racing in Sydney and Melbourne. Listed currently, Canterbury is heavy. I believe it's a nice day tomorrow, but Canterbury, it is winter, but Canterbury tends to drain a ride. I think we're getting closer to soft, I would hope, by jump time tomorrow, around 10 to 1, where we kick off with the 2-year-olds over the 1250. And look, I will lead us away for once, but I actually like the win of Almighty Rising. I thought it gets the track set up here. It's a little bit of time between runs. It beat Dragonstone, who was okay on the weekend, but a horse you found a bit lately. Gets probably the same setup where it's going to roll forward, lead this, and around the $4 mark, I think is a nice way to start the day for me, at least. How about yourself?
Yeah, look, I've gone for Construct. Really liked its first up run. Hit the line really hard, was doing its best work late, freshened up with a barrier trial a few weeks later. But if you go back to last preparation, it ran in the Blue Diamond. Was only 4 lengths off Torius in that race. Prior to that, a few lengths off in the Prelude, General Bow and Animo. Jigsaw, they're all horses that have got some pretty good form. So, look, I think a horse like this, if can put its best foot forward, can be certainly hard to beat.
I should mention the rails in the crew and on the wet track. We'll just watch for any rail bias, I guess, early in the day in terms of how we play throughout the afternoon. Race number 2 is the 1100 meters 3-year-old maiden. We've got the trial, hot trial up in Queensland, Matt Dunn horse. Is that the one you're looking at? You've got a bit of a handle on this form.
Yep. Yeah, I am going to go for Head Legislator. I like the fact they brought it to Sydney. Got form again behind Orbison, which we know is a good horse. The other two are also a first starter and resuming that are in the market, but I think this might have a little bit of ability, and let's hope it does.
Yeah, the trial was nice up there. Obviously, has to bring that to Sydney. I thought the first starter, Kaela, trialled really well too on the wet track. Trialled here. I think it was here trial. Let me just double check that. Yes, has had the trial here on the wet and got through it pretty well. Overlord, we've seen a little bit, but it does trial well Overlord if it hasn't necessarily brought that to town. So I think that can run well around $8, but 3 and 4 for me, sort of against the Mount Fuji form at the top there. Race number 3, benchmark 72 over the 1250. Tamerlane's come out, which I've just seen, which leaves me with the favourite on top. Salik was a nice win first up. Got through the heavy well. Van Giz won on the weekend. That form's held up pretty well all around it, and can be close enough to on pace here where that shouldn't be an issue either. So one of the better bets today, actually, Salik for me.
Yeah, I think can't disagree with you there, mate. You've summed it up nicely. You're very, very hard to beat and potentially one of the best bets of the day.
Race number 4, benchmark 64, 1250. What have you got for us?
Yeah, tough race here. Wasn't overly keen on anything, but if I was forced to have a pick, I kind of went for Granado from the Waller stable. Was only just behind the place getters first up in heavy going. Handles the track okay. Was long odds there, but a bit shorter in the market here. This isn't a strong field. Was drawn well enough. It's got enough pace to probably sit in the first half of the field, and hopefully can finish off well enough to win.
Yeah, I was against the lead up race, which was the Warwick Farm No Laughing Matter race. I figured if I'm going to play, it'll be away from that. So looking for the different form. Ended up with Arctic Thunder on top, actually. I think it's going all right. 8-week freshen up, a trial tick over since. It's not one I tend to find with Wagga and Wagga form in it, but it does have a run, a length of Prince of Aragon, which would be competitive here at Kambla. And little claim for Ellen Hennessy, who actually has written okay the couple of times I've seen her in town lately. I've got it on top. So I think it and Granada, yeah, that's just playing away from that lead-up race, and both at the each-way price might be the way to handle race 4. The fifth is a benchmark 72 over the 1100 meters, where Tamerlane's come out of the earlier race to come here. Are you looking to the blue colours there through that rustic steel race?
Look, yeah, it looks very hard to beat here. I thought this was a super tough race. I really struggled to find something in here. I settled on Imposing Bow. I'm just hoping it's drawn wide. That hopefully they'll hurry it forward and try and get up on the speed. And yeah, that might be enough to get away with the race. But this is many of these horses have got similar form coming through the same races. Last start was less than probably impressive, but prior to that was fairly good. So hopefully it can turn it around tomorrow.
That Imposing Bow run where it sort of was outside lead, and then I thought it gave in a bit too easily. It was a tough run, but it was trailed off. Maybe can forgive that. So I was a tough race. Probably won't bet in it, but I did have Tamerlane on top. I think now fourth up. Wets should be okay. We might not even run in a wet, actually, just having a look at my notes. But the rustic steel racing and close to Vitesse in that sort of on that leaders track would put it in reasonable stead here. But again, I'm not probably going to play around in that race there. Race number 6, I don't know if this gets any easier, and I've just noticed a couple of key stretchings as well. But benchmark 72, 1900 meters. Look, it leaves me with Makoma on top. Honest, hasn't won for a while. It's been close all the way through. Quick backup, Joe Pride. It's his trick is the quick backup, wet, a bit of a claim to get it down in the weights as well around the each way. Hopefully can posse up close enough where it will be competitive. So Macomo on top. I would have been interested in Navy Cross if it had been here, but a tough affair there. I think Bethencourt's shown itself up a little bit now. What about you?
Yeah, look, I thought the same. I couldn't back Bethencourt at this point in time. Fantastic Baby is obviously a good chance in being racing in probably a bit lesser company, but has good winning form and does handle these types of conditions. So it's certainly a chance. Macomo, yeah, I just don't like the 2-4-3-2-3-2 type form lines. I landed on Rules Don't Apply. Hard horse to catch, mixes its form. But I think tomorrow might be a decent setup for it to probably run a better race against a lot of horses that don't win and don't win often. So it might be lucky enough to get its win and ridden by James McDonald. Hopefully that goes in its favour.
Inside gate, a tick there too. I'd say J-Mac on gate 1. It'll be pretty close to right on pace, which would help as well. Benchmark 72.
Yeah, and if this is a switch back from Saturday class racing to midweek will certainly be in its favour as well.
Yep. I don't know if this is much easier. The 1550 benchmark 72 to wrap up the day. Actually, the more I thought about this, we'll know how the track's playing, but the more I've thought about this, Warrior Falls might be a good thing. I think this is really dropping grade. It was a nose off Great House, who would be $1.50. Charlize, that form's stacked up in Queensland. Oscar Zulu's flying. And then a couple of lengths off, we'll get a line with Macomo in the race before. But if we can run on, nice blending run, gate 5, I think $4.60 might be a decent price. From Offshore, who's probably obvious, but again, doesn't win. Just Josh Parr, I'm guessing, goes forward from the gate. It gives it its best chance. But the more I thought about this, the more I thought Warrior Falls might be a bet here, or will be a bet for me anyway.
Yeah, I thought the same. As you said, this is again similar to the race before. This is a huge drop back in grade, coming back off what last 4 starts have been Saturday grade, and now it gets back to midweek. So certainly that ticks a box. It's got a decent enough draw, right jockey, right trainer, and it's been racing in that Saturday form against some horses that have strung some wins together. So it's not as though it's been knocked out by a roughie or sort of those types of runs. It's been beaten by horses that are showing really good winter type form.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, Oscar Zulu flying, Great House flying. Charlize was flying before I had no luck in Queensland. So easy to find. It's actually ended up my best of the day. And I'm going to make my value earlier on for progretracing.com.au. My value will be the John Thompson first starter Kayala in the second, just because I struggled to really stamp anything longer than $5 all day, really. How about yourself, Beaver? Best in value?
Yeah, I've gone for race 3, number 3, Salik. Thought it was the best bet of the day. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 6, number 7, Rules Don't Apply, around the $7-8 mark.
I like it. So progretracing.com.au, check them out. They're free tips and extensive guides. Plenty going on there. We're on the eve of the Spring Carnival. A couple of weeks, we'll see some of the good horses back trialing and have something to get excited about as it starts to warm up and dry out. But where it won't be dry is Sandown, where the rail's in the 14-metre mark on Hillside. It's soft today, but it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow down there. So let's keep an eye on scratching. Let's keep an eye on track bias. Not entirely sure what to expect, to be honest. It could be the rail out that far might end up even being leaders. So, but being wet might even it out. Let's wait and see. We kick off with the 2-year-olds over the 1,000. Do you having any thoughts in the 2-year-old race in Melbourne?
Yeah, no, this looked really hard to get a line on. A couple of first starters, a couple of horses coming off wins last start. Not quite sure how the track is going to play. Certainly made it a difficult affair to assess. I thought Mira might be from the Snowden Yard, coming from Sydney. One last start could be a sneaky chance at double-figure odds. So that might be a bit of a play early on, and watch the market for the rest of it.
I thought the same. My default was, if we're not sure if we're gonna the 2 at double figures, if I had a really itchy finger and wanted to play, it'd be Mira. Sydney form. It has and it has some reasonable Sydney form first prep where we half thought maybe it wasn't genuine, but that's 4 moves ahead form, Shakiro form, and even here the breakthrough win was okay. And Rambo's flying the top weight there. Craig Nealt flying at the moment as well. Up and going wet tracker. I know it's deeper in a prep now, but these are nearly 3, so they can probably handle it a little bit better. I thought both around $11 or $12 would be the each way start to the day, at least for me. Race number 2, benchmark 70 to 1,000. So the rest of this meeting is very deep fields and perhaps some trick shots. So tread with caution. I end up I've got the top weight on top here. A bit of a claim helps for Lockie Naindoff, but Twist of Fury, $4. It's the only blip on its record was heading to town against Curran, where if you forget that, it's been going well. Wet track, absolutely no issue at all. And should be close enough to the pace as well, if that's a concern. So on top from me, we'll watch the market just to see what price we get. How do you line all these up?
Yeah, another tricky affair. I've gone for number 11, Kev's Girl. Really liked the way it outsped them last start. I think it was Swan Hill. Probably going to lead this field, or certainly go forward and give them something to chase. If there's any benefit there to the leaders, then it's certainly going to be hard to run past. 1,000 metres suits. And I thought as a sort of longer priced danger is tax-free profit. Thought it's going okay. It's 3 runs this preparation against some reasonable opposition. I think a couple of starts ago, last start ran 4th at Caulfield behind Malkovich, less than 3 lengths. Malkovich is going well at the moment. That's not a bad run. Certainly Malkovich would be short priced in this. And prior to that, won its maiden at Swan Hill, but won quite easily. So I think its form, this preparation is not too bad.
Yeah, cool. 3-year-old fillies is race number 3, benchmark 64. You got a thought?
Yeah, I went for Chassis Lane. Yeah, I went for it. 1 start, 1 win. Spilled after that. It was a good win at its only start. Resumes here if it's done enough work. Oliver aboard, it can be super hard to beat. Goes forward, tough to get past.
Yeah, looks stylish in that win. First up 14, maybe the only question mark, but the market's right here. That's the horse to beat from Lulu Darling, who's got the inside gate and coming back from Saturday grade. Yeah, the market, as I said, is right there. 2 from 1 for me as well. Race number 4, the 64 over the mile, where can you split these up in 64 land? Wow.
Mate, there's only 2 chances here. Livingston Falls and Worsfold. Not much between these two. It's going to. I think I'm really keen to watch this race because I think either of these two could go on to better things. Worsfold was very good first up at Werribee after coming from South Australia, where it had put in some nice runs. When it's certainly stepped up a distance, it'll certainly enjoy that distance. But I've just led for Livingston Falls. Both starts this prep have both been third. Runs on well. Was short priced and probably a little disappointing, but got too far back again last start and finished off hard enough. Extra journey suits. So Livingston Falls for me, just in front of Only Danger Worsfold.
I like your confidence. I couldn't split the 3. I thought Too Much to Bear was a chance as well, but I like your confidence actually. And the little claim there for Will Price helps in the sticky. I'm not necessarily a huge weights person, but when you get to these sort of real heavy, if you get to heavy tracks, anything, it all helps there. It all adds up. Cool. No, I'll follow you there. Race 5, benchmark 70 over the mile for the girls, where I thought, well, 2 chances for me here. I like the win of Leo last time. Rolling forward, I've actually gone against my usual play and looked for the two that might roll along close to the pace with the claims. Lady Diora's come back pretty well this prep, and Leo was a nice breakthrough winner. Both should roll along and give a sight. Wet's no problem for either. So they're the two I was looking at here. White Hibiscus is the super interesting one. We'll know how the track's playing by then. I noticed it's actually drifted since I did the form, and has perhaps been disappointing since that Mammoth win here. How do you line all these up?
Yeah, good little race. I've gone for Under My Spell, around the $556 mark. I thought its run last start was very good on the synthetic at Ballarat. Really put a gap in them. Was well backed and didn't disappoint. Always had that racing control. The start before that, I'm willing to put a line through where it ran a distant last at Morphettville, but that was a good race where the favourite was in good health. So a quality field, and then prior to that, ran a nice race at Ballarat. So they obviously took it to Morphettville with a view that it's got a bit of ability. Just didn't pan out for that day. On that day, back to this class, certainly hard to beat. And you're right, I thought Lady Diora was good, but probably my other main danger was Mona Dream. It ran well last start, so Under My Spell to beat Mona Dream for me.
If it's the horse I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure Nigel Blackson has a big opinion of it too. I think any cut of the ground, those are negative, which the big synthetic win probably supports. But he said as long as it's dry, this horse is a good horse. And I think I found it first up actually when Zoosonic beat it, and obviously that form stacked up all right since. So if the track is dry enough, I like what you've said there. Race 6 is the benchmark 70 over the 1800 meters. I'm tipping we both probably found the import that's come over. He's flying and has been dominant 2 Australian starts. I think it's better than this is Hosier I'm talking about, better than 70 grade, and might even go into slightly better things early spring.
Yeah, you'd like to think so, and I think they think so. So certainly looks hard to beat. Main danger number 7. Furamond. It's a good win last start. Was in a probably position of not a lot of chance on the turn, but flew home from pretty much last. So if you can run on from back in the field, it should be in and around the placings.
The second last is the benchmark 70 over the 1400 meters. How have you shuffled up this big gala affair?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Love Planet. Was due to resume the other week and scratched, so resumes here. I think there'll probably be a bit of money for this in the market. Be surprised if it started $3.60. It's a good little race, however, but Exolita was disappointing last start for me. And the difference, it goes all right, but it's drawn quite wide. It's going to have to probably go forward. And I thought even horses like Ostrada and certainly Caffrey. I think Caffrey's probably one of the main dangers around the $10 mark, resuming for the Moody stable. But no, I like Love Planet.
I think if Love Planet's here, it'll win. I think if they've got any doubts about it on a bog or whatever, they will save it for another day. Is a simple way I'll look at that. And from the difference, who it has got ability, but it's a bit of a peanut, for lack of a better term, and doesn't always put in. So, yeah, I think if Love Planet starts, it'll run well, and you've nailed the main changes there. And we finished today for 64 over the 1,000 meters. Brazen Bully was the obvious. Track should set up all right if we're running on by now. Finished in the gets a quick backup on the back of finishing in the blanket there, chasing Deep Speed. Before that was pretty impressive. So I think back to midweek grade, Ben Mellum, all ticks, and will run well again. How are you finishing the day?
Yeah, I'm going for Just Malcolm around the $6.50 mark. Look, fifth at sale last start, but that was against the pattern. So it wasn't as bad a run as it looks. It was only a couple of lengths off them, and it did start favourite. So they obviously expected it to run well, and just the pattern on the day didn't suit. Prior to that, had some really good form coming out of races, Cranbourne, Moe, and then won first up. So if you put a line through last start, which was only 2 lengths from the winner as favourite, I think it's got good enough form to win a race like this.
Very good. For progrepracing.com.au, your best and value at Sandown.
Yeah, my value bet comes up in race 2. I went for number 11, Kev's Girl, about the $8 mark. And my best bet of the day comes up in race 4, number 9, Livingston Falls.
I will make my best. I can't make it Hosier, I suppose. I'll make it Twisted Fear. I think will run well. And the value will be the couple I mentioned throughout. Lady Dora run well around $8 mark in the 5th. And the couple of 2-year-olds, I think they'll run better than their price, Muramura and Rambo. So that's our look at Sandown. Have you got anything up north?
Yeah, come up with 3 up north, a bit of value and a couple of faves. Race 4, number 9, I think she's good, around the $6 mark. I think that'll run nicely. I then came up with race 6, number 8, Kiandra Gold, again, around the $5.50, $6 mark. And my other bets comes up in the last race, number 7, She's an Eagle, around $3.
Excellent. That's a good little race, the 6th there. Zefterbrook and Jack the Lad's had some Sydney form too. It's an interesting little race. Good job, Beaver.
Yep.
Nice work.
Thank you, mate.
Stay safe. Stay sane in lockdown. All our thoughts with everyone in Sydney. I know anyone watching down south has probably had it much harder, but we'll get through the next month or so and hopefully can catch up for a beer at some point. As I said, stay safe, punters, and we'll see everyone Thursday night for our Saturday preview. Catch you then.